Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar, and yesterday Facebook went goatsy. Ladies and gentlemen, I was going to make a video yesterday, but I decided to hold off because I really wanted to get the full truth of the situation. It wasn't just Facebook that got a giant goatsy, it was everything underneath Facebook, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what is underneath Facebook? If you used Instagram, if you used WhatsApp to communicate with family and friends, gone, deleted, off. Now, I have to imagine Mark Zuckerberg was not the happiest soul on the planet, and I'm sure there was probably a lot of anger espoused over at Facebook. It was probably a giant shit show all around. But to understand, Facebook hasn't been having the last couple days, so I want to just mention a few things that I feel are definite mentionables, but I'm not going to elaborate on some of these things because I don't really have the expertise. For instance, I'm not a political guy. I'm very stupid politically, but from what I understand, Facebook actually had a whistleblower that came out like yesterday, 2 days ago, where they actually talked about Facebook and misinformation that spreads on the platform. There was a lot of accusations thrown around that Facebook was definitely there to help further allow people who were doing those January riots in the Capitol to sort of congregate together, if you will. And they also mentioned things where the safety of children is sort of brought up into the question for Facebook's extreme hunt for making money. Ladies and gentlemen, that last part, I think I have enough experience on Facebook as a shit platform to realize it's probably dumbing down the kids. No problem. It's probably dumbing down society in general. But I feel like that had to be mentioned because, it was a massive issue that Facebook is going through. However, I'm not an expert on it. But you know what I'm an expert on? Computers, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm here to explain exactly why Facebook went down. Now, yesterday, in the theme of misinformation, there were Twitter posts, one specifically where I responded to. I'm bringing this up basically because I quoted this. So someone deleted large sections of the routing. That doesn't mean Facebook is just down. By the looks of it, that means Facebook is gone. Ladies and gentlemen, tweets like this basically sparked up the idea that Facebook as a platform effectively was deleted, which, ladies and gentlemen, you can't just delete things off of Facebook like that, okay? You can't just do that. Facebook, for it to be deleted, all right, you would have to basically nuke the entire repositories and everything they have. You can't just delete something with that is as large as Facebook. It has repositories all over the world, and there are plenty of engineers that can bring the framework back up and running. So to understand, Facebook was actually removed off of the DNS itself, okay? So meaning if you actually tried to find Facebook on the entire internet highway, you were basically sending your internet packets to a black hole, all right? So Facebook effectively removed the one connection it had to route everyone to itself on the internet. So just as a quick layman's explanation, the reason it went down is basically at one of the Facebook endpoints, the actual BGP routing got fucked up. It basically went offline. So basically the idea is let's say the internet is one big highway, right? We're just driving down. You want to go to Facebook, right? Facebook is this giant location. Now, Facebook hasn't disappeared. The exit ramp to Facebook has basically disappeared, meaning you can't connect to it, they can't connect back to you. From what I understand, they actually sent out teams to, I believe, California, like their big data centers, to actually get it fixed up. And so that's where most of the hours spent yesterday were probably directed at. Now, to give you a quick example of what happened over here too, if you use any Unix system, you have access to something called dig in your terminal shell. Basically, I'll give you a quick example. You can ping sites like Google, okay? So for instance, in this case, I'm actually pinging Google, and it works all fine and dandy. However, when I start to actually ping Facebook, I wasn't getting anything. It was literally an unknown host that you couldn't resolve. The packets weren't able to be sent whatsoever. So now, if you use something called dig in this case, trying to dig Google, for instance, you'll actually find out, hey, it exists. That's what a normal dig looks like. However, if you go to Facebook's dig tool, you'll actually find out the dig wasn't able to resolve Facebook whatsoever. It was actually telling me, it was giving me serve fail errors. I could not dig up anything regarding Facebook. Now, of course, this was taken at its absolute peak. I decided to do this just to actually see what was going on. And this pointed the idea clear in my head. And of course, to further cement the theory, a few hours later, Facebook's site started looking like this, where they actually went with a 2020 header. This was just something that they got up running just to ensure the site was accessible. Then, of course, you ended up actually looking at the next big piece, all right, which meant later on during the day, when I started digging it again, it actually showed up. So starmini.c10r.facebook.com showed up a couple hours after during this debacle, and eventually everything started to work. Once I saw that, I knew immediately they started to rebuild Facebook and they started to get it ready to send out to the average public. So to understand, ladies and gentlemen, yes, sometimes the truth can be a bit more mundane than we all expect. Now, ladies and gentlemen, of course, as you can imagine, Facebook, given the fact we had that whistleblower story here, their general site being absolutely tits up inaccessible, involving Instagram and WhatsApp, Facebook was unable to harvest your user data and probably sell it to the highest bidder, and that caused their stock price to absolutely plummet within that day. So they went all the way from 344 all the way back down to 323. Of course, that doesn't mean much. Facebook is basically one of the biggest tech companies in the world. It's half recovered, all right? Now, why is it half recovered? Because Facebook is still going through a fair amount of selling off and is going through a fair amount of scrutiny by the government at this point. And there's also another situation where Facebook apparently has 1.5 billion users' private information allegedly being sold on the dark web. Now, this one screenshot's there sitting as the big old proof. Facebook 1.5B database is available for sale. Oh boy. Hi everyone. We are selling, why'd you censor Facebook? Database which hold more than 1.5B database of Facebook. These database scraped this year. Keyword is scraped. And 100% emails are included and phone as well. 20 samples available to match with your database, which you have been purchased from everywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, that was from a VIP that joined literally this year. God bless. But ladies and gentlemen, I really can't prove the validity of this actual database leak. However, it's not that Facebook has ever actually had leaks in the past. If this does exist, I don't actually believe this may have super sensitive information. I mean, your email, things like this may have probably been scraped and sold out, which you don't want out anyways. You also don't want your phone number released as well, especially if you can link those two together. But hopefully it's not as bad as it sounds. This is one of the many things, however, that Facebook is dealing with. So yeah, yesterday, long story short, Facebook went down, and the reality is the whole story was a bit more mundane than expected. They had a bit of a routing error. In fact, not just a routing error, a straight up routing black hole, and it took them several hours to come back. And it's kind of weird, like this is where a lot of conspiracies have kicked in, where people kind of believe that because of the whole whistleblower story, apparently Facebook went under. It was to a point where, as far as I could tell, Facebook actually, like their employees actually had problems getting into the building itself because of the outage. Like apparently their access badges weren't getting them into servers, which, like, listen, if this is all tied into a conspiracy, god damn, it is beautifully executed. But I believe firmly that the reality is somebody at Facebook was trying to update something on their endpoints, and lo and behold, that update caused the entire system to go full tits up. So clearly that person may be out of a job, they may be getting yelled at, they might even be facing some financial issues from Facebook themselves. And in that regard, man, I would hate to be on the receiving end of the hatred from Mark Zuckerberg. But ladies and gentlemen, that being said, Facebook died for a few hours, the internet got to touch grass for a little bit, and now that it's back up, all your moms are going to sit down and talk about hot shit all day, every day on good old Facebook. Ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mutahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am out.